Alright, so what's up guys? So I was reading some Star Wars comics and I remember that time I read a comic where Darth Vader fought Darth Maul and I remembered that it was epic as fuck and I went back and read it and I was definitely right. That shit was goated. But anyways, if you like Star Wars content, expect more what ifs or fanfics, lore videos, video essays, reviews, more comic videos if this does well and just anything Star Wars really. But with all that out of the way, why don't we just dive right on in. So this story takes place in Star Wars Tales issue 9 with a group of individuals clad in dark robes watching the arrival of someone landing on the planet. A group of stormtroopers land and pile out of the starship, and Darth Vader walks out. He's looking for the plans for the Death Star and tells them he will not tolerate failure. The Dark Lord says he senses something familiar, and you can see that on his face. Or mask, if you will. Vader tells two stormtroopers to follow him, and the group of troopers talk about what it means to fail the Emperor, but also Vader. So pretty much, you fucked, you dying. But before the stormtrooper captain can finish his command, he's decapitated by a red lightsaber. It was a person clad in dark robes, and the stormtroopers begin firing on them, but they're quickly cut down. They try to do their best, but they stand no chance. Vader and the two stormtroopers find a giant door and enter inside. One of the troopers begins to explain the history of the fortress. He says that 100 years ago, an aristocrat left Coruscant with some followers, and conducted experiments to study the dark side. The further they walk, the stronger the dark side gets, and the two stormtroopers are force choked to death. Vader ignites his lightsaber and tells whoever it is to show themselves. A trio of individuals clad in dark robes appear and they tell the Sith they are dark side adherents. Vader tells them they destroy the stormtroopers, and the trio tell him that they were unnecessary, and they continue on saying he is not worthy to be Palpatine's apprentice since he was once Anakin Skywalker. Vader gets angry saying Anakin is no more, and the trio says that he is not of the lineage of Darth Bane, and the robotic Sith tries to strike them down, but Darth Maul blocks it, shocking Vader. He asks how this was done and they revealed that they resurrected Maul using the dark side. They tell Vader that Maul will replace him as Palpatine's apprentice. Vader says he won't allow that and the two stand against one another, and Vader says he'll kill Maul. They clash lightsabers and Vader says Maul is dead, but Maul kicks him and calls him a Jedi. Vader gets back up and Maul says that he has a small light that he refuses to extinguish, but he's not like Vader, and says that his darkness and hatred are unending. Vader uses the blasters of the two dead stormtroopers to shoot at Maul, but he blocks the blaster bolts. Vader calls Maul an imposter, but Maul claps back saying that he's the one who wears a mask and hides his unworthiness, so who is truly the imposter? The two Sith Lords clash on a bridge, and Maul says he's surprised Vader can hold his own against him. But Maul proceeds to cut down the beams on the bridge and the two darkside users fall below. They continue their duel and Maul taunts Vader asking if he learned any of the lessons that Palpatine taught them. Maul runs on the wall of the lava flow they landed on, and Vader chases after him. The darkside adherents are watching above as Vader and Maul continue their duel. Maul manages to land a strike on Vader and tells him to come to him. So the robotic Sith jumps towards him and Maul taunts him by saying he's more machine than man, and how can a machine hate? Maul taunts him even more and says how can he kill him when he killed Obi-Wan's master, but Vader goes in for a strike, saying Obi-Wan slayed him and then proceeds to cut his lightsaber in half, but Maul ignites his saber into two sabers and now their clash continues. Maul manages to strike Vader in the helmet, but Maul stands over Vader feeling victorious, gloating that Palpatine will now have a worthy apprentice. But Vader uses the Force to grab his lightsaber and stab himself through the gut to stab Maul as well. Shocked, Maul asks what could Vader hate enough to destroy him, and in the coldest way possible, Vader says, myself. He pulls the saber out of his abdomen and Maul falls to the ground dead. Vader turns his saber onto the shocked darkside trio, but Palpatine uses Force Lightning and electrocutes them all. Vader explains everything that happened, and he asks him if he knew any of this, but the Emperor tells him no. They go to get the plans for the Death Star, and the comic ends with Vader standing up and following his master into the starship. Overall, I gotta say this was definitely a goated fight, especially the end when Vader stabbed himself through the fucking chest and guts Maul, and saying that the one thing he hates the most is himself, which I gotta say is very, very in character. And I'm pretty sure that most of the stories and issues within like the Star Wars Tales comic series is like set outside of the canon, like it's its own. Like a lot of the stories are in their own universe, and considering this came out way before the Clone Wars, it was pretty cool to see Maul in like a different light. I liked his return in the Clone Wars and what he did in Rebels, and like his finale with like the final fight between him and Obi-Wan, but I always wondered what would happen if like he had actually met Vader, and this comic does that idea really well. But with that, I'm going to bring this video to an end. If you want to see more comic videos like this, then let me know down below. But with all that out of the way, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.